You have seen the image 1,000 times. The blue skin, the peacock feather, the bamboo flute. To the uninitiated, these are just colorful aesthetic choices from ancient folklore. But to the mystic, they are something else entirely. They are a code, a deliberate, visual language left behind by one of the most complex figures in spiritual history to answer the questions that keep you awake at night. We are not talking about mythology today. We are talking about psychology. We are talking about the architecture of the human soul. Because hidden within the playful stories of Krishna are metaphors so sharp they cut right through the noise of the modern world to reveal the secrets of time, the universe, and the self. Most people read the verses and see a story. We are going to read the code and find the map. If you are ready to move from basic devotion to high-level wisdom, we need to decode the messages Krishna left for the true seeker. Let's start with the object he has never seen without: the flute, the bansuri. On the surface, it represents music, joy, the call of the wild. But look closer at what a flute actually is. It is a piece of bamboo. To make a flute, you have to cut the bamboo from its roots. You have to burn holes into its body. You have to hollow it out completely. It is a process of trauma and emptying. This is the first brutal hidden message. To become an instrument of the divine, you must be hollowed out. Krishna is teaching us the physics of spiritual transmission. As long as you are full of your ego, full of your opinions, full of your rigid plans for how your life should go, you cannot make music. You are just a blocked pipe. The air cannot flow. The melody cannot start. The emptiness inside the flute isn't nothingness, it is space. Space for something greater than yourself to enter. When Krishna plays the flute, he is demonstrating that when you surrender your attachment to being the doer, you become the instrument. The haunting melody that captivates the world isn't coming from the flute, it is coming through the flute. The hidden message: stop trying to play your own life. Hollow yourself out. Remove the blockage of the ego and let the universe play through you. And then there is the anatomy of the instrument itself. 7 holes. In the yogic tradition, these aren't just finger placements. They correspond to the chakras, the 7 energy centers of the human body. When the divine breath flows through these centers, it harmonizes the entire system. It aligns the physical with the spiritual. This isn't just a nice metaphor, it is a bioenergetic blueprint. Krishna is showing us that spiritual alignment is the music of existence, and it requires every part of you, from the base instinct to the highest consciousness, to be open and clear. But Krishna isn't just a musician, he is a disruptor. And this brings us to the Leelas, or divine plays. These aren't just bedtime stories for children. They are radical philosophical statements disguised as pranks. Take the most famous one, the butter thief. Think about the absurdity of this. The creator of the universe, the source of all wealth, sneaking into a village house to steal a pot of butter. Why? Why would the absolute truth become a petty thief? Because he isn't stealing a commodity. He is hunting for essence. Butter is what happens when you take milk and you churn it. You agitate it. You apply friction and heat and effort until the purest, richest part separates from the water. The butter represents the heart of the devotee. It represents a love that has been churned through the struggles of life, through patience, through the heat of longing. Krishna steals it because the divine is hungry for only one thing: the essence of your love. He doesn't want your rituals. He doesn't want your money. He wants the butter, the result of your internal work. And notice what he does next. He eats the butter, and then he smashes the pot. This is the part most people miss. The pot is the body. The pot is the identity. The pot is the cage we live in. By smashing the pot, He is delivering the ultimate liberation. He takes the soul, the butter, and breaks the vessel that traps it, freeing the devotee from the endless cycle of birth and death. It looks like vandalism. It is actually salvation. He does this again with the lifting of Govardhan Hill. The context here is critical. The villagers were worshipping Indra, the king of heaven, out of fear. They were making offerings so he wouldn't destroy their crops with rain. It was a transaction. It was a protection racket. Krishna steps in and says, "Stop." He tells them to worship the hill that sustains them, the land, the cows. He shifts the focus from fear of a distant god to gratitude for the immediate environment. When Indra attacks with a storm, symbolizing the wrath of the ego and the establishment, Krishna doesn't fight back with weapons. He doesn't shout. He lifts the entire mountain with the pinky finger of his left hand, the smallest finger, the weakest digit. The hidden message is shattering. True power is effortless. When you are aligned with the truth, you don't need to strain. You don't need to struggle. You take shelter under the grace of the divine, and the heaviest burdens in life become as light as a feather. He is teaching us that the opposite of fear isn't courage. The opposite of fear is trust. Then we have the Ras Leela, the dance. This is often sexualized or misunderstood, but look at the geometry of it. Every gopi felt that Krishna was dancing with her alone. He multiplied himself to be fully present with everyone simultaneously. This is a lesson in the nature of the divine presence. It is personal, it is intimate. In the quantum realm of spirituality, the center is everywhere, and the circumference is nowhere. It teaches us that you don't have to wait in line for God. The moment you destroy the ego and enter the circle of devotion, the divine is yours, fully and completely. Now, look at his head, the crown. What sits there? Not a diamond, not a ruby, a peacock feather. Why would the King of Kings wear a discarded bird feather? There is a biology to this myth. Peacocks are famous in ancient lore for their ability to eat poisonous snakes and digest the venom without dying. In fact, it is said that the poison they eat creates the iridescent colors in their feathers. By wearing this feather, Krishna is signaling his role as the great transmuter. He takes the poison of the world, the karma, the sin, the suffering, and he doesn't just neutralize it, he turns it into beauty. The feather also has an eye, the all-seeing eye of wisdom. By placing it on his head, above his own eyes, he is symbolizing that his consciousness is guided by a higher vision that sees past the duality of good and bad. And there is the factor of humility. A diamond must be mined and cut and bought. A feather is dropped naturally. It is a gift of nature. Krishna values the simple, natural offering over the expensive, artificial one. But where is the manual? If the stories are the examples, the Bhagavad Gita is the instruction book. But Krishna doesn't just dump information, he uses a security clearance system. He reveals truth in layers: secret, more secret, and most secret. Level 1, the secret guhya. This is the hardware versus software distinction. You are not the body, you are the soul. You have a duty, and you must do it without being addicted to the result. This is the entry-level realization that wakes you up from the matrix of materialism. Level 2, the more secret guhyatara. This is the network connection. God isn't just up there. He is Paramatma, the super soul, located in the heart of every living being. He is the witness observing the bird on the tree. This changes how you treat others, because you realize you are walking through a gallery of divinity. Level 3, the most secret, Guhyatamam. This is the final unlock code. After explaining karma, jnana, and yoga, Krishna tells Arjuna to drop it all, abandon all varieties of religion, and just surrender unto me. This is the path of bhakti. The ultimate secret is that the highest truth isn't intellectual, it is relational. It is about love. The universe isn't a puzzle to be solved, it is a relationship to be nurtured. And finally, we have to talk about the end, the most controversial hidden message of all. The death of Krishna. The scriptures say he was shot in the foot by a hunter who mistook him for a deer, a stray arrow. For a God who lifted mountains and swallowed forest fires, this seems impossible. A glitch, a weak ending, but it was a staged event. It was the final teaching for the age of Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy we live in now. By leaving through a physical wound, Krishna demonstrated that the physical form is temporary, even for the divine avatar. But the deeper layer is about the arrow itself. The hunter's name was Jara, which means old age. Krishna was showing that time conquers everything in the material world. But here's the catch. The scriptures predict that for the first 10,000 years of this chaotic Kali Yuga, there is a golden window, a loophole. The method for this age isn't complicated, fire sacrifices or centuries of meditation. The system has been updated for our short attention spans and chaotic lives. The message left behind is that in this age, liberation comes simply through sound, through the chanting of the names. Krishna's weak departure was actually a signal that the old ways were closing, and the new way, the path of simple sonic meditation, was opening. So look at the image again. The hollow flute waiting for breath, the smashed pot releasing the soul, the feather turning poison into beauty. These aren't just symbols, they are instructions. Krishna is asking you, are you ready to stop being full of yourself so you can finally be played? Are you ready to let the pot break? If you are, the music has already started. You just have to listen.